Diachi, na say auntie asemfo fra. Ene na yechi na maybe so. What in your coso social media however abe fontinta fidie ni so. Woni ni yakoso e wo hono. Ene na dwebreneti me adwo adempo me ne mapamfo e wo Ashanti Prime TV. Ebina da bia ene ya wada bia wabra aboy ni me no num wabra ye di dwumede onwaso bia to di Prime Trend ebre wo Prime Trend so ameni mapamfo ye besim konya ye de nsam a won say da na wonfa wani ehu da egu nsani ani ni abobo mu ni de no kra no ato ne da sansen pani say di ade ne da no won fa to wa eya na free talk afen so wo Prime Trend so no ye be ma wakonya na wo so de wadwenkyere aba eni kasam esanso wo mu ne say Prime Trend jumediye mu no afa baby wo wa obesiria enunti na mse hia me adwo adempo me ne mapamfo e wo Ashanti Prime TV clock it
Abusha me mawache ema wakwa eba Ashanti Prime TV Jumedia yatu ni din Anopa Tutuutu so Abusha eye morning show Jumedia ye de brel aha ne yeka Ghana nsem yeka amanyosem yeka school sem yeka akwani ebedie ho nsem yeka mrahye bedwam yeka akwantempon ho nsem so yeka yaresabia ho nsem aha ne yeka Ghana ho nsem nyina no krewom ya no krenim bebi antro ne da ye the evidence any fact ebe kama bom aya analysis ama wa obeti ase aha Ashanti Prime TV Jumedia yato ni diano pa Tutuutu abusha me na me di Jumedia ho chia me ye fa me Sam ba Ike Jebre yeti Anopa Tutuutu abra no pa no num ekosi se nondu ebebo no morning show sonkwa Ghana ina etie Anopa Tutuutu abusha for aha Ashanti Prime TV na woni say ye ka se Ashanti Prime TV dia na che se aha na no kre no ewo
Odi Solomon Opokunie ye fred ma ba fie die ne ye bepe TV a obeka nsem papa akire yen no oba mi yehunu no papa ekoso ewo wiase tisi ye pe TV papa ne tie nsem pa ewo kroyimu dia ye fanto ba biase Ashanti Prime TV e wa na mehwele de bia entizo fa TV na to Ashanti Prime TV. Keep watching Ashanti Prime TV. We love you all. God bless you.
Ashanti Prime TV. Aha, and I'm not carrying the wall.
You didn't come over your fear film and conquering me as a damn any impo yesukum. Sanko Modi when you deba TV so. Na yababe didn't come to show away any direction be a young como na yedi a sam and a yeka. Ye echo so our boom, a become politics kakra, a become religion kakra, a become entertainment kakra. Any day I came in I was here. So you mean to me, so what talent to be I ever from now yet to me any wedding come near so Eddie account. Jumedia me bohun de actually the port show. The port show a social discussion. I near ya tackle societal problems, challenges, nipa a massive. Port show is a public discussion space, social challenges. A platform that gives voices to everyone. I mean everyone, right? Na yendi eni din komo na sasa shen bia Martin odin wachiku ho no eho mebusa won sama wani na so se mebusa eho ana be expose eho ana be kire se wachiku ho enti kame ho na hwe me solo base na yendi jumedi we efia da bia 5 p.m. Ashanti Prime TV. Ashanti Prime TV aha na nakware no wo the post show me no mi enu nkomodi that's
Asante your mind. Ni senti na Ashanti Prime TV. Edi Jumedia waso sonko bi ebaso. Ni atoni din say Spotlight Hub. Any trending issue. Me wasonfo. Genial Diamond. I'm di Jumedia ebasomo. Ejada bia. Eni wokuada bia. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Na Jumedia shisha subutu. So ye up and coming musician, actor, actress, Empo social media influencer. Don't hear any say obefa number na. Ejego screen national. Friend. Nani endin sa wasway. No be yet dachi enstroma. Spotlight Hub Jumedia yisudie. See release interview. Na se eshemu mpoa. Ubetsu.
Adansi edikan yabo manade hye memo bibiara achi no mama kwa bakese ediaba Ashanti Prime TV so emra son sensema yensa aka ne wo man Ghana na afensu obi man so ne edikan editi osemufuo ejina ntenten ne wakuchedi agukrata so ediama menemede ba besom mo se Prime Anopa no nsia kase ensema no pemede ba besom mo no edosu yi ne edi makotini bi enie ene yon so afo hwenwo mesua nsem so munyamfo Haruna Idrisu Eden Shishie Pakwegu Akweme Babo Mo my Ghana Mumesua Etumpon Science na kopie mu e waso ye hwa ho ne die nsem so apanyin oda no eye Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapa wono so Eden Sembi ato abontene ensem we ne nsem awudu pie kan ye ba besum mo e wosimadu asantem mi amaje pani edi Anopa kase besum we di amaje so ene mesna afsat mi cham hotel abasisia Science wa mo akwa babiem ediaba Ashanti Prime TV so afeji bre na ensem ne yendomu eyesuko ye hyase e wonwo masua aso ye apanyin oda no enwonmunyamfo Haruna Idrisu ene wakasa edi ato abontene se eye afi 2026 se yedru eyi June bosome ne de to so eye miensa eye 3rd June eye ade ampanimfo ede hyehye pegu akwemu kura adwumadi edi enda so ene eye e-learning Africa eye afi 2026 wo de ba be hyehye so no my Ghana so yade ayaye krado pa sesa de yade ehu be hyemu bi ni ehu eye abefo kwan ye befa so de asua ne ma na dachi bia no okobase ye beye eye online test ana se ne ma hodo a aka na ameye se ye beye confuse ana se yenhu ne eye yenko
that Ghana will play host to e-learning Africa from the 3rd to the 5th of June 2026. Across the world, education is undergoing quite a significant but powerful transformation. Technology is no longer on the margins of teaching and learning, rather increasingly it is shaping how knowledge is delivered, assessed and applied. So simply put, technology is changing the way we learn, the way we teach, and the way we work. And we need to take full advantage of e-learning and to deploy technology. And therefore, it is within this context that the e-learning Africa Conference has over the years grown into the continent's leading platform for dialogue, innovation and collaboration in digital education and skills, a fundamental challenge. And government remains committed to investing to deploy and upgrade access to internet connectivity across all schools in Ghana. The government of President Mahama is currently doing an assessment of the digital needs of all students from preschool to through kindergarten to junior high school. We're also working as a government to have a digital education policy for Ghana. A review team.
Adishman Ryan to Akasia ne so e won finfini mantemu eye gumwa east na okopie mu e wo honoma eye bia ya Fred say eye Ubulu estate na no na nsen mu ensu a ensu to ama ne hom ne so ne eye ya ne nsu yi age agufo na okopie mu honoma ye na anu adansu eto ye na ejiri e bia fa kwen mama wona wote eye Ubulu estate na ya akobadie ho ayeden e dia ma de hye wo honom akasa ediomade so de ato abenim so obesre se won hwe no meye eye nsamso e wo ho no musonsiesie mfamo ho isan sensam so e ho no my friend say bridge ni so won siesie di a e ade e da ne de nyin nso yiri e be koso
no moko MP wona mo Desmond na DC na na kom omo wa ha de bia nso tey yiro omo ya we ye say no more evidence na menim so mo twen so obi nwu ansa mo aba so mo ba be bridge no ana mo ba be kwan na man de ende mentumi nkire
ye hwe ha e kro kase pa e wa ha so fi se obolo estate or yes our bridge we no an permanent bridge or a temporary bridge but after temporary bridge no insurance starting for about 3-4 years no I start here ebubu ye nyo bia ma na because obolo we wie na edman wa ha obolo wie na edman wa ha nti on kasa ho bio no obi a so yan na adwe so ba ba ye nti esra ban bebre se ontwe na nim hwe obolo estate eman
mesre aya DC last year sad we happy pepe eba pefa mattress ni emo wa bechiche ba oye odin mattress na emo ni chiche wie no okọ na no no ye nti omo ka bio ye se omo ye adwumayefo ye okwan we so na twem wa be 53 every time enso be to bia to ba kope sisi e de anga hwe o we ye ba kope by next ba ko to kan ho bio pe afa de ye ntumi nkroso nti ye sere eye asemi man na owo aha no ombla no mehwe because last year obaye ye hu hwe this year so nsuo na hyase nti yesere
kwan we apra road we haya papa ya kasa ya demonstration ache muka mu twentro mu so mba be ya amaye ebesi nne dabi atambia nsuo keto akura to a se ya oma besi akọ esoro akọ hwe bebi nsuo ni firi banyina abaye ni nyina oma yanti omnka ye nim de ekoso dabi akọ so mba be ye besi nne nsuo ba kotope hwede edeba
Enkani nkronketu a enei emu atre kakra na yade mpanimfo asigina yese eye transformer ewo honom no wo hwe na wasesane se de beye a omanyina nkane ahonsem ebekoye ne nanam so amene wo so for hwe ahone de ensem so ede ma oman Ghana eye Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapo ati ne hu edi ato abontene so a eye bia ye bi omosesa eye transformer no wo kwa akohwe se de dwumadie no ekone bro dro no nso de afutusem kusonko eko edema adihie bi no me Ghana ha say
even though there's still room for improvement. I've seen increase in the number of gangs, for instance, to respond to emergency situations like outages, and I commend the MD for doing that. I've seen a change in terms of how they even invest in their money. I've seen a change in attitudinal work, even though there are some isolated areas where we are not happy with, and it's normal with every organization. But the MD and his team are monitoring. If we find out that you are not living up to expectation, action will be taken. Just as ministers, DCs, government officials face scrutiny, so shall it be for every organization, including ECG. That's why I encourage the district directors, the regional directors, to give up their best. There's no country where you don't experience one outage or the other. But the response time ought to be swift, it ought to be fast. And we expect that they will live up to expectation. And they are signing KPIs with them, they are monitoring them, and we are all monitoring the system. The Energy Commission is in the process of setting up a system that will ensure that we monitor all these outages. And at the end of the month, every district will account for why they have those outages, the time it took them to respond to the outages, and if there is any action that we ought to take. Let me be frank and sincere, we will take that action. Yeah, Baba, we want to do na enyini, do na intimi enye jumani ye change bebre, and in a dear Baha, one say, if you didn't know that and the see or no, for an idea, see or no, so let's see or Nanya Hankwan, or mining in Nani, Jibusumi a year may, ye Beko Kumasi, also ye call your major exercise. Na Amakumasi and Ashanti region. Monyina mkania Ghana nyina babia yesa exercise na etimia boa ama nyina mkania no ejina so etimestra Ghana for dwumadia ye eduru babia se wudu mkania no
Adeshimayimba Executive Director Edema Eg Watch eyon munyamfo eye Kofi Asare ene wakasa ede ato abontene senche ye biara na aban ena afenso aso ye hwenwo mesuansem so esi ginaye so obehwe na wama yenuanom eye akyerɛkyerɛfo binum akɔ eye nkura hodo bebre so akɔhye wondwumadie asesa akyerɛkyerɛfo ne no ene wɔkasa ede ato abontene sɛ obesre se bresun so be charge be chirefo ya ma onye se eye kura kese mu nkwan no di bi be ko na ye nuan mo mu kuro nkitu mu no onya chirechirefo emfa nchira de ya de omo ebe ma omani akọ eye dish recruit pa ho ye se de be ya aban no ebe hu se kuro nkitu mu fo nso ya de omo nso hia eye chirechirefo se de be ya omo nso ma disua ene omo de chire betumi etumpon
7,000 teachers na omo recruit no ye need echi ye be requested through RTI ama genius ama ye quota omo de call every district bia up to 7,000 for no na ya monitor what district bia say omo ye dem to no am papa ma ba na school be dem akọ teacher for na we de call na number south ma ye hu teacher for na de call na number for publish na ye hu number no enti e call na number south you go on to director na ya monitor omo ifa na akọ show classrooms dey hu na again omo ye quota na ye be hu say ga is aye we ye were more teachers that we need. If you say, hey, for be say, hey, adan, teacher do pede wa anomo because ye nya teacher for anomo. Ye be hu didi. And until ye monitor e wo increasing to make sure say rural district na teacher for ni hono no. Quota omunya aye no. Omo de ye adwuma. Abaya my akonya say ye high teacher for 7,000. Now so primary any KG no kwa no. It sounds like you are one of the young with your car it's kind of say. And until Minister for Education.
Ene jadi form wo kumasi KJT ati won hu egu abontene so onsem nyina ne se eye KJT ya eye phase 2 ampanifo eye wana adwen se wode hihye so enu ntu bia ya na odi dwaye tu wo mu edi free honom no piti afa 2021 ebesin na enya de ampanifo atu hu ana mobia eye sanso na eha adwen isanso wote kwan ho ene di dwa nti obesre aban no se wo ma aban no ekosi eye bosumi eye ba besime eye me bosumi na wieye se bi aban na anhyase se contractors aba eye project yi hu no mu di edwuma ya do mbegugu fence ne no mo ankasa akọ honom akodi wo mu dwa nti obesra aban no se achedodo onhwe na phase 2 no fa enhyehyɛ
kopim May ending ya hu hwede a fence na ye gina ho no ye be make sure say ni nyina gu fam de kwa kwotena ho akodi edwa
aban a owo so sesei no KJT redevelopment project no onu ne kofa bae onu ne nimu asem enti yen eya de srede enene ye de eto amane no enti samwa bae amamo mre kakra ma get used to the office ma hu se ne niema erane enti ye hwehwe se de ye nim sa ahyase no mo ka kire se phase 1 sika no eno na be si phase 2 na si di aka nyina atra akọ Ghana ha no omo nhwe enenye sa amaye
yetu ye yaye mobo pa ye dosun ye e ma na titi table so central market ye dosun yetu ye yaye mobo ye se o mampanyi mahama ye ma me gen na opoku ajeman ma me de ne nim so obaye vice de ma de nke ho atoye ye se no ya ho to ye pa ne se ye nka so onchiche sika maye ba omo meye dwa no na yen ko try table so na yen ni etwa
2021 ena aban no ema ye free central market ena ye ko race course no yen ni tibi ko ye se na e skasem se ese ne ye pesca ye de ko bo containers e race course na ye tena ho ye ko en de ko wi ni se ateche ena ye ko tire mu e kwan ne ye security enye light eni ho enti o hono ma yetim bebu ukioso nani ni yayi uni ema nyina afiri ho enti akoba se afiri so ye nto ade e wo ho ti ye stress sa ndro ma ye adwuma na mayen so ma ye adwuma na mayen dia na o kire yen se ye ma me bi yi fence ni nyina afiri ho na ba bi a e wa ateche mu no ye metetre mu sa na ye ni edwa ene be boa ye sa de a enya sem bia ye ka afiri so ye nto ade e wo ho ti ye stress sa ndro ma ye adwuma na mayen so ma ye
adishman ba ye nto akase ni so ne ye oso afo hwekru nketua impunto so eyo no nyamfo Ahmed Ibrahim ne wakasa e de ato abontene se ya de a enyom de nhyehyɛ pawu akwam yie pensan so man Ghana se ye hwɛ eye ya hyen ahodo eye ba se se didwuma e de mo man na se bi wo nyamfa so dia influence enti ene no ode nhyehyɛ pa egu akwam osusu se no so ebeboa ama sika kakra efiri honom ediaba no osan so de afutusem esronko ekode mampanimfo a woda eye basis companies ahodo no nyina ano sɛ ɛbɛyɛ ya sɛ aban ɛbɛtɔ ba asama mo sɛ mo nhwɛ so mpɛni dwuma na bɛyɛ sɛ mfie aduasa na still na mfaso papa bia ɛma so sɛ bi nti ɔbɛsrɛ so mo nyinaa ɛmfɛ dwumadie ni so ɔmo ade ne mu na ɛnyɛ sɛ hyɛ ɔmo tirim sɛ aban deɛ nti ne meyɛ ne yie ɔmo anyɛ ne yie nyame deɛ afa hyɛ ɔtirim sɛ ɛyɛ wawa agyapadeɛ no hwɛ ne yie na sɛ de bɛyɛ ɛyɛ ɛnɛ yi ba asa aban atɔ no nso no daakye bia ne bɛtumi aso aba na ɛno asika atumi atɔ foforɔ.
Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive I GAPT. Once a year, and so I didn't be 2005 modernization of the capital city in Dubai. Transportation is one of the functions of GDP. And as I said that it is planning corona. Now as a baby a passenger for befa, baby a cars befa, buses befa ini. And now traffic tinting no ewo o mine no. Now you decide charge no MMDC is a more Greater Accra metropolitan area. Say more 27 in income na urban transport planning or planning because it transcends the jurisdictional area. Be free also protocolly no kola or call La Paz or call Medina or call Tema West, Tema Metro. Then I won't make say maybe jurisdiction and the one I'm planning. This will mean a boom. A plan say there might be smooth and sweet transportation. And nothing a gap in the world. Now, about a year in 2014, October 200 buses and amount 245. Now, Oman Christine. In the mandate, I made the man say, if free the airport, new board we entrance our mandate now. The man must have planning buses. Even in the Bible, obey the talent. A man or Bakuman or the kosher form, he was punished. But Untmin can say this 245 buses amount, not 10 years, Untmin for Bakun County. In the mandate with MPSA, Omo IGF number criteria, Omo the better new buses no be account. 2. Omo has a buses na yedi amo mono, unse nun can say Yanko Ocean. Ube yusu na wa maintain it, say beya it will be roadworthy all the time. 3. So I gap to no transport no because at that time there were transport, there were public facilities that you didn't gap to for no. But because omunye jumaye ninti akwaye omu say sa facility property no prano omun yuso. So other people are encroaching. Uhe almost as I say work as well. Nipa bibra encroaching. Uhe omu property Kimbwa. The former transport ministry no omanti ambe
ene bedroom enkasa hoji medie akodi amoma Ghana adihye nyina titiru ene ye maamenma omuwo edwumwe eye futuo sonko na nipa nsema a woka enina ne sese ye show oman Ghana mhase ya eye plastic waste eye rubber say tutugu abontene no afi bia no nia yetumi dane eni esumi de ya de foforo na ye 9 and 10% pe 90% akanyina na yade a yentumi enhweso yi a esai kweba sanso na oman no eka na ye bo nti obesre se ene obitumi ye bola wo fie no wa fie no de akwa kotu dwom ene sane no nyina yenhwe ne yenya se de be ya ye enwura abo apeso wo man Ghana ha se na no ebe brass na so ebete
afibia plastic ye nya ewo Ghana ha se plastic waste ebe 1.1 million tons e ade bia e do so pa sa 1.1 million tons nia ye recycling e be 9 to 10%. Until we might say about 90% of plastics are generate ewo Ghana ha se ye recycle sa plastic ni na plastic either say e ko to atwene our landfill site and so say ekogu ekumu and see the good ye feature nyina ye betu ye ho fo say ye nyina no ye ndane a police for em say obi kura ka say ya ye bodo wuro kura no ye kura no ye plastic waste ye to twene e wo say ye nyina ye say ye be nsuro for na say police for a ye nyina ye be won ne ye ho say wo hu say wo nua bi nsu ato wa fa ne bola plastic o tu egu a bomoden nenya akukudro na kire na se nia oye no enye na ma onfa ekwan bi na onfa sisa ade na waye no na yan kasa so ye individuals no so no yan hwe ekwan mienu miensa bi a medibia to badada se wo kwadwoma wan kasa na wobenya wo bag bi a wo de beko wo ko akoto aduane edi wo ko akoto koko wobetumi e de wan kasa wo cap bi wo de akono de koko na gu
pa na edoso enti ye besre se bi wo ho a aban no betumi aka ne school for na bom na omo aje na ye yi a omo na ye yi rubber na mfemfe system ni mu na polythene aye fan say aye e kan paper bag no kwa no e ba anka ye paper bag ni say nso ta be fo e be ni na be ko nso egusu a na ye mre ohun kra wo say paper bag tintim form there be amon na ye de tie aduane ma ye di say amon kra ye de die wi no to wono ma aponti ba wiwe odwan ba wiwe nti na nhyɛ da nye wura bebree
olukuyen papa na ye beja bi so a tisem penfo na nkasa wo hwema roba ne ba no na wo ye ho bibi tira ye wo fom hade ye ntum nya ho hwe enwa tisanko be ye anwa na nkasa penfo won fa nko meeting na wanya na ye nja ne sanko ye ne ahataw na do
ana wo ka ga tesimu nso ka ta na mi emu na ye ma
2026 Ghana TV Excellence Awards na ya de omode afidie ahyehye so na ne na alam so ama so afọ bidie che o hwenwu na siansam so munyamfo Clement Abbas Apark ni wakasa de ato abonte se kamia se Ghana hanu se ensanu numa ade a sebise biebi mu emu kura wo hu ne se obi o wonsanu numa na obi obotire ni opomade carpentry ene sane ma no sebise bi wona wotie wuo na se adwuma no nso ye hwepa na wona otumi keka wo hu sa ha se mitwa we be fitini ni we no mu ena nka bi yie pento be sire se TVET ni emu ni nyina ye mfa ye ho enhyem na yade ye be boa da chi bia nsa no dwuma yade ye kurawa obi entumi engine influence
we gold hu adwuma jewelry say we mason say we mechanic eno hu asem ena ye ka no na de tie ne say mpampi no Ghana ha no akwakoye say abeto etrim say obi a ode ne nsa eye adwuma wonima de enti na akoye say omo no yeyi omo ama ana say yapo omo but say the wiase ikono yenya ntie say so man bia betumpon na say se nipa no nso no wa brabomu ebetumi agina pintin na wa wetumi anya wadwuma afa nkrofo amamo ye adwuma ma ode a na wo say usua nsa no dwuma ati esanse ye pese ye hisa Ghana fo adwen na ye ma wofo ne nkwara ehu se wo ye usua nsa no dwuma ehu nwoma ebeboa na enintina ya shede yi se ye beye TVET Excellence Awards na ye de abo mo abaso na ya ma amansa nyina ehu se de Germany etie se de South Korea etie se de America etie se de China etie se de Japan etie aye nyina ye pese da chi Ghana ye kodu sampem so no eyensa no dwuma e TVET education na aboa ye ka ye kan microphone a wo de atua ma no is a product of TVET. Cameras in a product of TVET. O glasses for fair I will say is a product of TVET. Intadi nyina and this a betum ponwa na a hone was a co. Nka me pa nka say they acquire 70% drama and 30% TVET no. Nka yenye adwuma na ndane no na acquire 70% TVET and 30% grammar because grammar no and one tina
yet one seven so ani eboshi akwakotie mu ewo apuye mantemu eye achim eye segimase na ho na akopie mu ewo ho no ma eye etiwa forest adehye ewo ho no meni omate omo agu abontene so kasapa wonsem nyina ne se okopie mu ewo etiwa forest ya dia forest ya na se kwaye galamsey fo aseni yie pa ensuo hu eya yedin ewde ama adehye omo wo eye achim eye segimase nti obesere aban ni so nimsa aban no ebo ne homodin die ne nso emprempren die se de galamsey ne essence ase ne yenkwaye na afensu yensu ane sa aban na ahwe ntu anamo ye emprempren ya na ade adachi bia ne di wo ye ni ne bebe o man gan
gans e be start answer mo hu se mo die ne so chon mo die na so ma start e den adwane
Now, almost all the channel, they don't have a better, no more akipu. Or Pim say reinforcement, you bet me abejo. Etikakra mekane say, quite an idea, almost sabi. Make about 4 hectares. Beya park a horo makuma kon naya. I report I mean second free rapid response team hora. Yes, what me say. Ya sorry waka. E bedu baby no. Insu a ho nyoma say no. Cause they say insu say flu a janka kwaye no, but they say no abonte de no ma say na we so mo de du kwaye no. Ti bedu baby ni say obo say kwaye no mu de ne ka ho that means insu a flu de wa hebe kakra ye hunu bi bo na den atene.
An ya shaban ene ne mpamfo. Se bedu say omode abadwumafo na abambofo ebekọ poimu na omachichi nipa a omudi se de bonesemi ewo kwaye mu bra omo ntwentwen so kora yente omo ne yemfa omo nkotom yechi omo adi se adwuma ye nipa a omudi omo sika ebo omo ho bra so yente omo nipa ebobo omo no edu omo begu forest mu so yente omo niema makwan ema se nipa etimi adwuma nyina abanfa ne nsantu so afa bi ewu ye makwan se abambofo bekoponum na omakohwe so brano kobo ho ban
na de kan se omudwumadie no ye hwe se aban ebe call a state of emergency na all district assemblies no omum bie book mu awon obi biara opese oye mine no onko register e kwan da wo se aban be so masen obetreni om owi a wa mom licenses owi ensusu a wa pe concession dia mom na fe aban panyifo eye water resource
Ashankafo nkabom kuo bebre na wo ban garden mu ase ni ne oma no dem eye Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana ene oma kasa e de abasobode akọ e de amagana mampanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ena afensu na so afo nyina ese nanse mu be America kra eye Iran ntokwa ama no homo ne so ya de amafango ehun akwa achi pa amene eye fango free eye 10 cities akwa kopie mu ewo 18 cities na nanu ada ena aban no e de beto abontene se ya de a wo hye na etuo bi a e de da eye fango esun wayi afi se de be ye bo no e betumi ever form eno ena ahyenkafo akasa so mani so de aban no eye bia no mo nso e bom paye se eye ntokwai ebeba fon se de be ya fango bo no ebe san so abafon no mo nso sha aban ne bo se eye lorry fe ne nya de a wo ba betum o twenya se aban no be kika ne mesi ani na eye fango ne bo asan so abafon no nso eye lorry fe ne de nya de a wo ba betum desia
apase nyafo ene adaba fo em se be se na wotwe ense ne a entokwasi amano ne no ama petrol no apegya ne mu fre 10 cedi akodro 18 cedi enti adaba fo ye tete se ye beto lol film eni tell se for cabinet meeting offer cabinet meeting won beto se margins bi wo taxes ne so ya ombese wo mu yi nyame ya aduma within this window no petrol no ene diesel no betimi aba fem ne senti o hye yen adaba fo se opa ene chew yen twan 1 month pepepe eman na 1 month no na petrol no be ko fom kakra kopem se ebeba fom kra enti yema ye to lord femo drivers union so nyira kwatra se ye twene ne hu se ambassador we bia sida emi se Russia ne Ukraine see no that time no man panyin na na de no ofre yen papa m GP atifo ko shia of Rasta House ono so mine 1 month after 1 month ne hu se petrol ne dey eba fem ema ye yi so about 15.3%. And into you say your papa, your mama, akase. Obey taxes in every so. Na petrol na bafem. Fi ochina ekopim 1 month time no. And into ama adraba phone na anye ko. Na yentie yen papa your mama. If you say ono no di omane nim so kasimbi na yentia na yabuso. Ye gina fidi yesu akachire adraba phone ne binuma. Wama tutum se yesre wom. Yemfa nidie mana nidie sem. Yemfa obuo mana obuo se no. Ni yanyi ne yen papa jo mama akato no entum. Na after 1 month no na se yen hu bibia wo ho a na se driver for beka enti abom ye beto loso
na wasan sem kro na mu ena ahyenkafo ikasa editor abontene say eye voxy cars si a eye National Road Safety Authority mpanimfo aban say enjijuma anase enye eye public vehicle biom no ade a omonso kasa edifa ho say ye hwekra na wo mu say voxy na ekomirika na nso hwan na ye artistie na chi ye ahyenkafo yi a wo hu se ka ni komirika de ni na wo ti aso a ene se wo ti aso nti ahyenkafo na nkasa ntu won ho fo na won hwe kwan obefa so use ehyen ye nyesa obia etwika ka bi enya accident a iyeye nso se de ahyenkafo bi nim etwi vox ne na ama ya akwanhia no ados
ss ne ma no woma order na wom titi adaba fo nti woma adaba fo no kwan na wom nya wom adwuma ye gira video so akira adaba fo no so se okwan so jojo no wom mfa nya adwuma ye mpese ye beti se sa aka ne bio anya accident e wom se ka de ye den a ebenya na America na wo mutu no so ka ho bi yesere wo se na minister na ka no yetie agina afidie so aka kire driver nfo bi ase se obi anto lord fem na yenhwe next window fi okira ko no yenhwe ne besi se esi a na ye ho se papa John mama de si ayeden ayeyo na se na Ghana fu sun se ma ye nto lord fem yesere obi antie ye fa no ye adwuma eno nti na ye frem awie concerned drivers association ye ka ye nwie ye yenim sa da union so nyina so edum statement baba because enye employer na ye komi
Prime Anopa no nsia kase eno anigusu a wo hwese to ansam ne so na efi oman Ghana ne de ani akyeremu e wa amahodo so ensemu nene eye Pope de 14 ne ho e de egu abontene so akopie mu e wo Algeria e na afin so France ne nyina eye mentime ho ase a ama ne homene so e wa amanaman mienu ntem ama ade hye binom ato nananom e wonsie de okohwe de anim eye owufusum e de ma wona ato nananom e wonsie de san so ede na de hwede eto mpanifo e wa amanaman mienu enim so obesere se won hwese obi ade na kodie ebegu fom na asumdie aba
to champion Christian-Muslim coexistence. He voiced his gratitude for the trip.
I give thanks to God for giving me the opportunity to visit your country as the successor of the Apostle Peter, after having already done so twice as a spiritual son of St. Augustine.
It comes against the backdrop of the US-Israeli war and Iran. In his speech, the pontiff called for peace worldwide.
God desires peace for every nation, a peace that is not merely an absence of conflict, but one that is an expression of justice and dignity. This peace, which allows us to face the future with a reconciled spirit, is possible only through forgiveness. The true struggle for liberation will be definitely won only when peace in our hearts has finally been achieved.
The trip also comes amid a growing feud between the Pope, who was born in
obi man so nsem ne so e wa Nigeria ne okopiem e wa Nigeria man panyi unonyamfo Ahmed Bola eye Tinubu ahwe adan eye headquarters for kwa ediama eye Nigeria Revenue Service e wa Abuja osusu se no no beboa ma omudwumadie etumpon.
This was not just the commissioning of another government building. It was presented as a symbol of a wider fiscal transformation, an attempt to show that after months of contested reforms, the government is building institutions to match its economic agenda.
I made a solemn pledge that we will move Nigeria from the dimness of uncertainty into the clear light of renewed hope. I committed that we will confront structural weaknesses, restore fairness, and build an economy anchored on discipline, equity, and opportunity. Today, I stand before you to reaffirm that these words were not rhetoric, they were a covenant with the Nigerian people.
In his remarks, Zach Adedeji, chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, says the new headquarters is a proof that reform is beginning to take institutional shape.
Your administration undertook one of the most significant revenue reform in Nigeria history. And to put that in perspective, the first tax law made in this country was done in 1903. That is 122 years ago. You changed that. Over 60 fragmented tax laws were streamlined into a simplified and more coherent framework, strengthening compliance, improving predictability, and enabling efficiency in administration.
The event also drew key figures from the National Assembly and the Economic Management team, a reflection of how politically significant the tax reform laws have become.
We are witnessing a different trajectory. Through decisive leadership, our reforms have strengthened revenue institutions, improved collections significantly, and laid the foundation for long-term fiscal sustainability.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio used his goodwill message to connect the administration's reform drive to wider political...
America krani and abasabasa yema homine so ewe US and Athens to Iran and Tim and Namswa say nema bebre ama fango krabo akos runene ayade US a vice president with munyamfo a JD Vance and Athens to Iran penifo binu ekoshia ye ewo Islamabad senk wo kwakoshe na watu ajena celeste ajena shekwanya manama imi ni betumi a giant or can be adding a could at from the vice president a year Vance akasa edia twabont and say idea custom the questions singing and yadi omen to me uncle benkum in 2020 and yadi omit to me edio makodi a gufon.
I think that's bad news for Iran, much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've tried to achieve through these negotiations.
Iranian state media has blamed Washington for the lack of progress in talks, calling U.S. demands unreasonable. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson says that any success in talks depend on Washington for the lack of progress in talks, calling U.S.
Facebook, Ashanti Prime TV, YouTube, Ashanti Prime TV, and TikTok, and say Ashanti Prime TV. Oshana wa comment, wa like in wa share, Ediama Ubinso, and ye be a share. And some other payment the best more Ewakasi about coins to net doors, ye near Dima Putini be. And ye, a year or so for Shengumesia and some soon when for Haruna, Ejisu Akasa Afa, a year 2026, Lenin Africa, Jumedio de Babasha so Afino, Ghana for Cradwaya ye Edia Fahum. Also for Shanghon, and some say Dr. John Abdullah Jinapo, and so Ekasa in some way, and in some outdropia canny, the best some was a prime. Anopa no nsia kase ansa na necessary so no na enne ubepie mu e wa Ashanti Prime TV ya da sonko e de ma yenyina ya de yenyina yenua bema official kwabena e Dubai enne e na woda kwabena nyankopon enhiraw na wonuma pa wo yenyina won hwe so no mfa ho adom endum wonyum fra dum mu enkwa dum mu baby amanfo beduro mu be complain nyankopon se uju hono ma kwabena erade mfasa asase no emmaw nyankopon tutu wanamo ensiye emfamani ahwehwe nyina erade emma no emrem kwabena ye ne vejuma ai ni nyina ya few ewo ejuma manu say happy birthday official kwabena Dubai nyankopon ensure be rei free start free eye boss eye solo base ho eba ebedru presenters ekwa chese obi biara owo Ashanti Prime TV nyina o say happy birthday official kwabena diba nyankopon ensure na udutu anamo NCA infamou ai yes sports presenter ba ko pes which na honoma small boy danger enye agro kranyankopon ensure kwabena Dubai. Additionally, Bahanu say, and a brother Macram de Prime, a Anopa no nsia kase no esie. Me am de kase be so media me just wo. And a messing of that macrobia.
Bebrene akoso e wo yemmem ha enne nkofo amanso empani se ade achi na se yanti asemfufra enne na yachi na mibi so what in yekoso social media ho be kire aba fontinta fidie ni so woni ne yekoso e wo ho no enne na dwebrene tie me adwo adempo me ne mapamfo e wo Ashanti Prime TV ebina da bia enne ya wada bia wabra aboyume no num wabra ye di dwumede onwaso bi ato edi Prime Trend ebrewo wo Prime Trend so ameni mapamfo ye besim konya ye de nsam a won seda na wfa wani ehu da egu nsani ani ni abobo mu ni de no kra no ato ne da sanse pani se di ade da no won